Welcome to ABL Hot Corner, the show that brings you all the good stuff from around the Australian Baseball League. I'm Brooke Boris Kilpatrick, and with me is
Jamie Janga Cloden.
And we're going to talk about all the games that went on last weekend, kicking off with the series review of the Perth Heat versus the Brisbane Bandits. Janga, how'd you see that series?
Well, Brisbane made the long trip over to the West, and they came away with a 3-1 series win. Huge series for them. So yeah, have to make manager Dave Nielsen pretty happy, along with all the Brisbane Fandits, as they're calling themselves.
They do like the Fandits, yeah.
So they'd be pretty happy campers with that. Friday night saw a doubleheader, played at the old Barbagallo ballpark, and yeah, the visitors got up in game 1 5-1. Ryan Battaglia came up with a big knock, connected for the 3-run home run.
The Battle Star.
The Battle Star Battaglia. And yeah, that was backed up some great pitching by Rick Teasley, and Ryan Searle, again, continuing on his good season, came in to close it out. So with game 2, the early runs were the key. And then Andrew Campbell and Braylon Jackson launched back-to-back home runs in the third. So that was the highlight of the offense for the night. And then again, it was the bullpen that came in and allowed just one hit over 4 2/3.
Awesome.
To finish off the game.
Been a strength for them, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and especially with Ryan Searle featuring strongly at the end of the games at the moment. They're looking really, really strong in that department.
Excellent. Braylon Jackson had a pretty good series.
He is. He's a real spark plug at the top of the order, and just making things happen with his speed and just hitting the ball on the ground and making the defence get the job done, which they're not always doing.
Okay, so what about game 3? What happened there?
Game 3, Perth got up 3-2. Game 4, Brisbane 2-0. Both games, absolute pitching duels. They were both decided in the 10th. Both went extra innings, so it was a big day of baseball, 20 innings. But the Heat faithful, they were treated to an absolute couple crackers, really great games. The first game went right down to the wire with Tad Gold scoring on a pass ball. Tad Gold.
He's in everything.
He scored on a pass ball after a couple of singles and an error. While the second game, the nightcap, Connor McDonald broke a 0-0 tie in the 10th. He sparked a rally with a double, and ended up, yeah, they got two more with Braylon Jackson featuring in that, and just got over the line.
So it's pretty fair for the fans. 2 10 innings games, 1 each. Yeah,
the guys in the commentary actually said it was a great night of baseball. So a lot of fans do prefer the high offense games where there's a lot of hits, a lot of runs scored. But for the baseball purists that just like a good game of good pitching, just some good ball, few errors. There's not the best defensive game, but pitching wise, just a cracking night of baseball.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like the pitching duels. Bit of a fan.
It's just been the theme of the season for a lot of games. It seems to, we were talking
Feast or famine.
It does. It seems to be absolute huge offensive numbers, or some just great pitching games. So this night was certainly one of those. On the Brisbane side of things, what are your observations for the Bandits so far?
Well, I think for the Bandits, they've looked really good. I mean, they've won, what is that, on the trot now? 7 on the trot?
After sweeping the bite, yeah.
They've been sensational, and I think if you want to stop those guys, you've got to keep the spark plugs off the bases, which are Jackson, as we spoke about, and Riley Unroe. Those 2 guys, keep them off the bases. It's a secret to trying to shut them down. The Bandits bullpen are getting it done. As we spoke about before, Searle's really shored up the back of that pen. They've also got Matty Timms has done a great job.
He's been good coming in and bridging that gap from the middle relievers in the middle there to Searle in the 9th. He's been dominant also.
Yeah, so the end game in the 8th and 9th has pretty much been sorted. Tristan Crawford, Eric Green have also done a good job, and those 4 guys get them in the game and it's lights out. You know, it's all over. So yeah, Brizzy, a couple of things there. Bullpen massive, and they're on fire offensively. Looking at them moving forward, this week's huge. They've got the top of the table clash. Canberra Cavalry, who are 9-3, doing it easy, just smashing the pill all over the shop.
Can't wait for that series.
It's going to be an absolute lights out series. Brizzy versus Canberra. So I think after this series, can't wait for this one. We'll see who's top of the tree.
Exactly right.
What about the Perth Heat?
Perth, well, their bats have got to wake up.
They are tired,
They're just not scoring runs. I mean, we spoke about it last week, and it was the same problem again this week. 6 runs for the entire series, over a 4-game series. That's not going to win you many ball games.
That's not an inning for the Cavalry.
It is, not even. As a team, they're hitting 215.
Unheard of.
It's not that flash. With 29 RBIs on the season. On the flip side of that, Canberra got 81 already.
Yeah, wow.
And it's reflecting in the standings now, and if it just does keep going, Perth are going to fall too far behind.
Realistically, they probably have done okay to win the games they've won, given their offense hasn't really fired a shot at all.
Yeah, we got some individual numbers. Luke Hughes is batting $1.33. Tad Gold, as much as we mentioned him, he's still only batting $1.60. And even
It's a
D-San.
quality 160 though, Tad.
And D-San's been around just getting it done forever. He's only batting $1.79. So he's these guys, they'll wake up, but they're going to want to do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so if you're playing against them, you want to get them soon, because when they do wake up, it might be a case of look out, the bats all wake up at the same time.
So Melbourne this week, they make the trip over there to play the Aces, so going to be an interesting one.
Aces have done okay at home, but just really struggle on the road. So being at home, it might even things up a little bit.
See how it goes. Okay, for the next series, Boris, you were watching the Sydney Blue Sox at Canberra.
I was.
What'd you see?
Cavs did it again, had a 3-1 series win. Offense was the name of the game once more. On the Thursday's game was postponed due to bad weather.
Not surprisingly.
Squeezed the series in a little bit. So Friday, game 1, Canberra 9 defeated Sydney 0. And you'll never guess who was the man of the moment.
I reckon, have we spoken about him at all yet?
Might have spoken about him a couple of times. Brian Greening once again, complete game shutout, struck out 8 Sox, gave up only 2 hits and just dominated. The bitter pill to swallow for the Sydney punters was that the ex-Sydney slugger Boss Monteroa, now playing for Canberra, hit a massive 3-run home run.
Donning the orange instead of the blue now.
Got the orange on and did the damage. So that was game 1. Saturday we had the double dip, and it was split city 1 each. Sydney came back with a shutout of its own, strong 6 innings performance out of Colorado Rockies prospect Alec Bailov.
He's been good.
He has been good.
He's very strong.
His ERA is now at a 0.61, a tiny 0.61, and he's got a 2-0 record with 12 strikeouts, only 3 base on balls, so he's been fantastic. Late game saw the Cavs come back to their slugging ways, just unbelievable.
As they do.
Oh, it was like an American football score. It was 14-3, 2 touchdowns to 1 field goal. And once again, it was the Boss doing the damage.
Yeah.
The Boss hit 2 home runs, so, I mean, if you're a Sydney fan, you would have just been hating life watching the Boss go about it.
Well, they're struggling for offence now, and he's crushing.
He's just hit form. He's been sensational. So, did the job. On the hill, it was Steve Kent, the local, which is unusual for Canberra. You know, it's nice to see. He did a really good job. 5 solid innings, and gave up just a 1 earned run to get the W. In game 4, Sydney were looking to split the series, hoping to get back at 2-2, but things weren't, and things are looking pretty good early. Blue Sox bounced out. They're up 6-zip in this game. You would have thought, well, going to get the split. Things are looking good after 3.5 digs. Unfortunately for them, the Cavs decided that we're the Cavs. We're going to start smashing the pill. And that's what they did. It was an epic battle. Sox held sway 10-8 in the bottom of the 9th. Still thinking that splits on the cards, but can't keep them down. It was 2 singles and a walk. Loaded the bases with none out. And it was our boy.
Who was it?
It was our boy, Jason Leblebijon.
That's him.
Who hit the double into the corner, scored 3, and they went for the walk-off victory, 11-10.
If he keeps hitting like this, we're going to get his name down pat.
Leblebijon, we'll be practicing it. Leblebijon. He was unbelievable. So, I mean, after Sydney had looked like they had it in the bag, Canberra couldn't hold them down. Just kept coming.
Yeah,
11-10, walk-off. Crowd went nuts. Loving life.
Their confidence levels must be off the charts right now.
Yeah, so Liebley and the Boss, I think we're going to call him from now on.
When does that sitcom
Liebley
start?
and the Boss, I don't know. It sounds like a pretty good law firm too. They were unbelievable, and the Cavs bats did it again. So 3-1 win for the Cavs.
Yeah, they're just off to a fly. They've got arms with Grenning, obviously getting them. If he's going to pitch like that game 1 of every series,
sets them up in game 1, and then they've already got 1 in the bag, and then from there on, I think they just relax and just start swinging the sticks.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So, Janga, your thoughts on the Cavs overall?
Well, as we keep saying, they have the, other than Grenning, they don't have some of the best pitching efforts so far this year, but they just keep overcoming that with their hitting. It's just been phenomenal.
Run production's been ridiculous.
Yeah, and you look at the middle of their lineup: Harris, Leblebijon, Barnes, Pounds, Monteroa now, who's starting to find his stroke after a slow start.
But like that, this weekend he was unstoppable.
Yeah, but I mean that is scary for opposition pitching staff. You don't want to face that lineup.
No.
And again, Grenning's just unbelievable.
Top of his game, isn't he? He really is top of his game.
He's like a right-handed Kershaw. Am I stretching
without
a bit
the weave?
Yeah, without the weave. But he's just dominating. But the bats again, they're leading the league. 309 team batting average, 17 home runs, and again, going back to the Perth bats, Perth and Sydney have combined so far for 5 home runs.
Yeah, 3 and 2, so for 5 total. That's unbelievable.
Canberra 17 alone. So they sit at the top of the table with a 9-3 record at the moment. And yeah, they're heading up to Vegas to face the Bandits this week.
As we discussed, should be an absolute ripper.
On the flip side of that, the Blue Sox. How do you
Blue
see them?
Sox, yeah, they would have been kicking themselves after being in position to get the split and to come away 1-3. They wouldn't be happy. They're getting not a lot of power. They got some power from Reece Hoskins has been good.
He has been. Yep.
Josh Dean, but after that, it's been pretty thin. I think the team batting average is 228, which is marginally better than Perth, but still, you know, you're not riding home about that, are you? No. Pitching's been okay, unspectacular, but it's been okay. They conceded a league low 5 home runs, so they're not giving up the long ball. Sort of staying in games, but they're getting out slugged.
That's what's keeping them in it, yeah.
That of a spark plug at the top of the lineup. They've got 5 steals as a club, which is not a lot, and they've been caught 8 times. So 5 steals, been caught 8 times. They need to get something going at the top of the lineup to get runners in position to score.
Similar like to those Bandits. They've got those guys at the top of the lineup
getting it done. They've got the spark plugs and the bats to back it up. They've got to take care of business this round. They've got Adelaide coming to Sydney. You know, Adelaide been struggling a bit, but looked okay. This is a big series for Sydney at home. Yeah, they really need to take care of business this week. Should
be very interesting to say the least with the two teams. You'd say neither at their peak thus far, so very interesting. And we'll have a lot of bearing on the final standings, I think, this time of the year.
Agreed.
And another one that you've been watching, Boris, Melbourne Aces at Adelaide, down here at Cooper Stadium on the weekend.
Yeah, right here at Cooper Stadium, Adelaide's first homestand, and the Friday night game gave their fans finally something to cheer about. Got over the line 6-4 in the first home game of the season. I think that's the 5th home opener that's been won by the home team, so pretty interesting. Led by Seattle Mariners prospect Cole Petty, who's been fantastic. Jordan Cowan, another Seattle guy.
Another spark plug.
Had between them a couple of home runs and 7 hits on Friday night. Bite hitters got it done. They picked up starter Steve Chambers, who wasn't at his best, but did enough to get the W. Relievers Devin Barker, Cody Kursky finally seem to have solved a part of that bullpen issue. 8th and 9th, they got through it unscathed. Barker's been good all year. Kursky's just been starting to get some work.
He seems to get better as he's going every outing.
He's looked good, so that was the first win for the Bite on Friday night. Game 2 Saturday, one for the record books. It was supposed to be a double-header, planned double-header. Didn't turn out that way because what was supposed to be a 7-inning game turned out to be a marathon that went for 15 innings, and I think it was 5 hours and 17 minutes in total.
Unbelievable. No wonder they didn't want to go back again afterwards.
So by the time that was done, they would have had about 10 minutes to get the second game in with the curfew here in Adelaide, the local residents and the lights.
Not just the players either. You got to look at the umpires. We don't talk about the boys in blue or black or whatever they wear these days. But
yeah, well, interesting thing about the umpires, the chief that night was Ian Revel, local boy who was chiefing his first game in the ABL. And had 5 hours 17 to go through. So don't know if he claimed overtime, the ref, but he did a great job.
And some sore quads the next day.
Yeah. So that's not a bad way to get your baptism of fire behind addition to ABL. Of course, Rev, an ex-player, as you well know, played at the Bay, won the Caps medal 95, 96.
And one of the few dominant pitchers standing at 5'2".
Was a amazing pitcher for his height, his challenged height, but sensational pitcher, and first game, so
well
did it for the whole 5 hours. Well done, Rev. 11 pitchers were used in this game, so it was a lot of guys gone through. Aces lefty Matty Wilson was the guy, and he's another guy with good socks, so we like him. He's got the long socks going. I think the Melville Braves, I heard, was the call who the socks came from.
Okay,
team.
Right.
But he was great. He threw 3 innings. 4 strikeouts, didn't give up a hit, and that was the difference in the end. Held on, and Melbourne got over the line. Trey Vavra was the offensive guy for Melbourne. 4 RBIs on the night, and got him over the line in the freaking huge game. Next day, had to squeeze a doubleheader to Sunday.
Early start too.
10 a.m. start, and it was hot. It was 35 degrees in Adelaide, so pretty tough for the players. 10 a.m. start wasn't too bad for that, but by the second game, the guys were feeling it. So game 1. Hot Sunday started with the slugfest, and there was hits going everywhere. I think Adelaide were up 6-4, then Melbourne got it back in front 7-6. Red hot Cole Petty did it again, hit another home run.
He's been good.
It's been unbelievable. 5th home run for the year, and got him back in front. Hit it off old Willie Woo.
Willie Woo.
Willie Woo from
Yeah, right.
Melbourne. William Woo, the guy. He's been pitching okay too, so it was a big home run for Adelaide, and ended up running out 10-8 winners for the morning, for the breakfast game.
Yeah.
Once again, it was Barker Kursky at the end of the bullpen for Adelaide, getting the job done,
It seems
holding
to be,
onto the wind.
It seems to be that's the formula they're going to roll with now.
Why wouldn't you? It's
Yeah.
starting to work from what they've had so far.
And good to see Kevin Comer, who was meant to be the closer at the start of the year, who struggled, is getting some innings in the middle innings. So
Tell you what, he got some innings in when it wasn't pretty. Walked 4, got through unscathed, unbelievable. Didn't give up a run, but walked 4. And yeah, I think you might find that Kevin might not be around for too much longer, the way things are going.
Well, the Barker-Kursky combo is working anyway.
It's been good, been real good. Game 4 in the heat of the afternoon. Matty Williams, Big Red.
It's not good being on in the heat of the afternoon with that complexion either.
Tell you what, I hope he had this 30 plus on, mate, because yeah, he hasn't got the most tan skin going around.
Covered it all with hair at the moment.
Hey,
anyway.
he was sensational. Ripped through 6 innings, 7-inning game. Ripped through 6 digs, struck out 6, and gave up 6 hits. So the 6-6-6.
Very similar line, not exactly the same, but very similar to round 1 against Perth.
Yeah.
When he came out and threw the last game.
That's right. He was
really
awesome.
Good, really strong.
So he got through 6. The bite hitters got out early. There was an inning sort of midway through the game. It blew out. There was a lot of errors. I think 3 errors from the Melbourne guys.
Probably,
Adelaide got the 5 runs. It might have been the heat had something to do with it. It was a long weekend away
playing
from home.
100 innings for the weekend would do that to you.
So once again, Cole Petty, 3 hits, 3 RBIs, getting it done. Cowan had 2 steals. So those Seattle guys have been really good for Adelaide.
They've been excellent, yeah.
They've been sensational. So Adelaide take the first homestand for them, 3-1, and they'll be a lot happier this week.
Definitely much better going in 4 and 8 to round 2 than
4 and 8,
the way they were going with 1 and 7 going into the
they've
weekend.
caught Melbourne now. They're on the heels now. They've caught them. So both teams at 4 and 8.
No dramas.
So just going into a few news and notes, Janga, what do you think about the bite so far?
Kyle Petty's the story so far.
Unbelievable.
He's
Kyle
just
Petty.
been crushing. He's leading the league with 5 home runs. He's got 15 RBIs, 39 total bases to go with it. So if he's not hitting homers, he's hitting doubles, he's getting on base.
Banged in 5 steals as well.
And just threw him in there. Why not? Let's just do it all.
Getting it all done.
So he's the guy. And I mean, the other big one for me is the bullpen. While it's not completely sorted, it looks so much better with Barker and Kursky looking after the 8th and 9th or 6th and 7th and the shorter games. So just closing out those games. And one thing that I know that you've taken a lot of notice of is the home run fence here.
There's been a lot of talk of it on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. A lot of talk about the home run fence has been completely blitzed a couple of times on the weekend. I think first it was Mark Wick going through it, and then Corey Lyon had a crack at it as well on the weekend. So a lot of people are saying it's unsafe, etc. But we'll be having a chat with Landon Hernandez from the Bite a bit later. We'll put the question to him and see what the players actually think. Yeah,
well, if nothing else, it's a good talking point anyway.
It sure is.
So yeah, the Bite from here, they head to Sydney, play the series at Blacktown. So possibly a good time to get Sydney while their bats are a little bit quiet.
Bit dormant.
So yeah, it should be quite an interesting series, though.
Yeah, be a big one. Both teams.
Yeah.
Because Canberra, Brisbane are getting away, so teams can't afford to be dropping too far back.
The Aces.
The Aces. Well, I mean,
where are they?
The 15 dig game for them was massive. I mean, they lose that game, they could have walked away with nothing from the weekend. So the 15-inning win for them was brilliant. A big one for them, something to take home on the road trip. But it also may have hurt them in the long run, I think, because being away from home, long game, they come out in the heat on Sunday, not used to the heat. You know, Melbourne, not as hot as it has been over here. I think they might have struggled. That second game, they made a few errors at a costly time. Yeah. You know, might not have been great for them. On top of that, Trey Vavra was really good. Had a really solid series. Went 4 for 16, had a couple of home runs, 6 RBI. So he's looked good. Mike Hill continues to look good behind the dish and can swing it. And he's throwing out runners too. He's really cutting in the running game, so that's big for them. Darryl George, always a good player.
He's had a good run.
Showed a bit as well. So their offense hasn't been bad. They've shown a bit there. But once again, they can't win away from home. And they need to find a way to do that if they want to be competing.
You said that last week, didn't you?
Absolutely. So they've got now a series against the Heat. They go back home, play a series against Perth Heat. They get Perth when they're not really hitting that well. They've got to get it done. They just simply must get probably 3 from this series against the Heat. I think so.
If they want to keep touch with the top,
they're not going to be too happy.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. Thrown in anger like this, without warning, without any gloves, it can be deadly. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes grunt to throw it. It takes guts to walk away.
Okay, I'm here with Adelaide Bike catcher Landon Hernandez. Landon, thanks for joining us on ABL Hot Corner.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. Just leading off, the way you joined the Adelaide Bike last year, it was a bit of unusual circumstances. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I was out here visiting my fiance and her family over the Christmas time, and Mark Chandler was like, "Oh, I know somebody that's coming out that could have, that can be a catcher for us, because I believe one of the catchers was hurt last year, and one of the catchers had to go home for other reasons." So talked with the fiance, and she was just like, "Yep, go play." And so I was out here and played one series against Sydney, and so it was a good time.
Beautiful. And going back a step further than that, your fiance been in Adelaide because you played here previously.
Yeah. So I've been back and forth for, I want to say, over almost 5 years now. So played club ball here, went back, and so now I'm back, for the job and other stuff. So
Back
it's
for
good.
duration, sensational. Now, your early days, University of Hawaii. That must have been a pretty nice location to be playing baseball.
Yeah, it was. It's hard to beat. So yeah, I started there in 2005. Played 4 years there, so it was good. I enjoyed it, every bit of it.
So was some of your travel by air there, since because obviously you had to play other colleges? So did you do a lot of air travel?
Yeah, so pretty much every college that we played in conference, we had to travel, back to the mainland, as we call it, and we'd take trips from 5-hour trips to California. And then we'd also take 10-hour trips to Louisiana Tech.
Wow.
So it's long flights, and I got to rack up some flight points. So
Some
it's
frequent flight points,
Yeah.
racking up. And a pretty nice place to come home to, I suppose. It was pretty sweet.
Absolutely. So great beaches, very nice people. Everyone welcomes you. Everyone's the Ohana and family. So it's good.
Yeah,
And
excellent.
playing and coaching, did a bit of coaching there too, which I guess has probably led to what you're doing here in Adelaide.
I did, yeah.
As well.
So the last 2 years I was coaching over there. I had to finish up some school, so I was a student assistant for 1 year, and then once I graduated, I became a volunteer. So it was good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And a coaching role here in Adelaide at the moment as well.
Yeah, so right now I took the state director of coaching, or the high performance manager, for Baseball SA. I run camps, clinics. I run the academy. Also help out with women's baseball. So it's a good job and full-time gig. So it's good.
Great.
A lot of fun.
There's a bit of talk around the town about the Women's League. How's that looking at the moment?
Yeah, we have about 40 to 45 women that have signed up and that are ready to play. We're still trying to get some more women out there so we can have about 4 teams. As of right now, we have the season's about 6 games.
Okay.
So just depending on the amount of women that we get, maybe we can make the season a little longer, and hopefully we can make a little statement in the state and national champs. So it'd be
Build
good.
on it. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go, girls. If you're interested in playing baseball, get in touch with SABL, Landon's your man, and might be on bigger and better things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the kids, obviously doing kids clinics, being a catcher, the always a smart guy, the cerebral guy.
Yeah.
And they make great coaches. It's been proven in the major leagues over and over again.
Absolutely.
So you must really be enjoying working with the kids.
Yeah, I love one thing that I enjoy about coaching is getting the kids involved and teaching them something new, something that they haven't done. And when I've been into the schools and helped out the kids at schools and stuff, they really enjoy doing something new, because out here you don't really get baseball. You get cricket, you get Aussie rules footy, you get rugby. So teaching them t-ball and other stuff like that, they're really enjoying it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
From college, I know you were drafted by the Detroit Tigers.
I was, yes.
And ended up playing independent league ball after that.
Yep.
5 years with the
Gateway Grizzlies.
Gateway Grizzlies
Yep.
at the Frontier League.
Yes.
How was that experience?
Oh man, it was awesome. You're right in the heart of St. Louis.
Big baseball.
Yeah, baseball central.
St. Louis is arguably one of the biggest sporting cities in the United States. They just love sports. You got baseball, you got football, you got hockey. Anything that has to do with a ball or a puck, they love
They're
it.
into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sensational. Now you had some pretty good power numbers with the Grizzlies. I think
did.
you hit over 10 home runs every season with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So that's your game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously defense is your game, and a bit of power as well.
Yeah. So I love to hit. I would prefer to play defense. I get a bigger high throwing out a runner at second base rather than hitting a home run. So just the position, just coaching, being in every play, coaching the staff, as a on-field coach and stuff like that. It's a good feeling. to be involved every single play.
Excellent, fantastic. Now, I did notice too that in 2014 you did pitch 1 innings for the Grizzlies, scoreless innings. So I was just wondering if Stephen Mintz was sort of looking across at you the last couple of weeks when things haven't been going so well in the bullpen.
Yeah,
might have had a glance in the direction.
Yeah, we'll keep that on the DL.
It's out there now, mate. It's out there now.
We won't let him know about that. But yeah, I pitched 1 inning. Unfortunately, with the Gateway, we weren't doing so hot. I think the score was kind of a blowout. And he was trying to save the bullpen, and
mop up.
So it was my last game anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I had to head back to coach at Hawaii, so it was my last game. And Phil Warren was just said, oh yeah, you can throw some, and it was kind of a little test in between the position players, because previous in the season there was a couple of position players that had the same scenario.
Okay.
And so it was kind of see who did a little bit better.
There you go.
I still think that I hold it over
did
Ben
the
Walden.
job. Did the job. Well played. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, back to this season.
Yep.
Obviously, big series win over Melbourne this weekend just gone. Got to be a good feeling around the guys now.
Yeah,
coming out of that.
So I mean, throughout the entire season, we've always had a good vibe in the locker room and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the first couple series, we had a little bumps, but this past weekend showed that we're still in it and we still can play, and once everything's clicking together, it'll be good. It will be a tough team. So
realistically, 1 break goes your way, you sweep the series.
Absolutely.
15 innings game, anyone's game.
Absolutely.
Just get a break and it's done. But you take 3-1. That's pretty good to go on the road.
Absolutely.
And like you say, the way things have gone so far, a few little bumps, could have won a lot more games.
Yep.
The feeling must be good.
Yeah, so I mean, we lost, I think it was about 6 one-run ball games, so ball falls in somewhere, it changes the whole scenario of the game. So but we take it for what it is, and we just got to keep going. Got to keep our heads up and keep moving forward.
Yeah. Personally, hit your first home run yesterday. Must have felt pretty good.
It did, yes. It's very nice to at least make contact. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've played, just because of coaching and stuff like that. But it's good being around the clubhouse and being with the guys. Good group of guys. So we love to have fun.
Do you have sort of a teaching role as well, being a catcher and obviously having your experience? Do you have a bit of a coaching role, sort of ad hoc coaching role with the guys?
It just comes with the position.
Yeah, sure.
You're always going out there, talking to the pitchers and letting them know what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right.
Yep.
Even you got to kind of move the defense around and stuff like that. Kind of just put you in other positions, knowing the hitters, knowing the opponents, knowing what they can hit and what they're making adjustments to, just kind of in a blink of an eye. So it's always a game of cat and mouse, and so we'll just keep moving forward. That's something I enjoy.
Yeah, fantastic. Now behind us, we've got the famous now home run fence over here. There's been a lot of talk on social media about the home run fence, guys running through it. Yeah. It's so dangerous. Oh my God, how can they let them play? Yeah. What's the feeling from the actual players? I mean, I'm not hearing that from the players. I'm only hearing it from people watching it from afar. Yeah. Are the guys happy with it, or don't like it, or how do they feel about it?
To be honest, I don't even really know. I mean, they just kind of go through it. If
that's there. Right. Yeah.
So it's
so not a huge talking point then.
Yeah. So I think
just doing their job.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I mean, if it is what it is, and you just got to play around it. It's part of it's part of the field, and if someone's making a great catch and going through the wall, it's
get on the highlight reel. Nothing wrong with being on the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Mark Wick's a pretty solid unit too.
Yes,
he's one of the most solid centre fielders I've seen for a while, and he covers the ground pretty well.
Oh, he can fly for a big guy. So he's got some power. He's got he's got it all. He's good guy.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
To wrap it up, on the road this week to Sydney.
Yep.
Obviously a really big series, given that you're 4-8. You're just getting yourselves back into the standings. Sydney have been going sort of not too bad, but not setting the world on fire. How's the feeling going into that series away against Sydney?
I think the feeling is the same as this weekend. Just play our game and let the game take what it is. If we hit and we pitch well, anyone can win. So that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to approach it, and it'll be good. It'll be a good series.
Bullpen's looking a bit better. Had a few struggles earlier, but the sort of back end of it seems to have sorted itself out a little bit now.
Yep. So as long as we throw strikes.
Yep.
That's the big thing.
Exactly
so
right.
walks are going to kill you regardless of who you're playing, and what team you're on. So as long as we throw strikes, we'll get some people out, and we'll go from there.
Excellent. Yep. Well, thanks so much for joining us at ABL Hot Corner. Landon, best of luck this series against Sydney and for the rest of the year, and with your role at Baseball SA. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
All right, let's go on. Yep.
Okay, now for the flamethrowers, the top pitchers of the week. Boris, who's yours?
Surprise, surprise! It's that man again, Brian Grenning.
Okay, yeah, forgot about him.
Just can't deny he's been unbelievable,
Unreal.
sensational. He's now won 3 games. ERA is .37. It's
Ridiculous,
unbelievable, and he's just flying. This week's line against the Blue Sox, complete game shutout, 2 hits, 8 Ks.
No, I'll let you have him. Yeah, not a bad decision.
So Grenning, we spoke about him enough.
Yeah.
On fire. What about you? Who you got?
Well, I'm going to go with the pitcher who he didn't even get the win. His team actually lost the game, but it was in one of those extra inning games over in Perth. It was Edwin Cole. He deserved better than a no decision, and then ultimately a loss for his team. He went out there and threw 7 innings, allowed just 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, which any other day
Fantastic.
Is just an awesome outing that should get your team the win. So while the Heat aren't firing on all cylinders with their bats, they need to keep getting these performances from their pitchers to keep them in the game. And yeah, he had a huge pitching duel with Josh Warner coming back from injury. So he was equally dominant, but only through the 5. Cole just kept going.
Yeah.
That extra, and he was great. So he's my guy.
Edwin did not win, but he was awesome.
And also that when it came down to it, his hair, he's got the locks. It makes him stand out.
Got the weave
more in a
going.
crowd. Yeah,
we like that. We don't mind a bit of that, bit of flash.
Yeah. So no, so he's my nod. Honourable mentions, a couple I've got. Cody Kursky with the bite.
Yeah.
While not totally taking the world by storm yet, he's done a huge job
but
for
for
the
them,
bite,
massive.
stabilising that bullpen situation. So him and obviously Josh Warner.
Spoke about Josh.
Just a great outing. So I'll give them honourable mentions. You?
Alex Bailog as well for Sydney. He's
Yep.
been really good. Kept him in every game.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't given up too many runs, so we'd go with him. And
Yep.
Ryan Searle, just because he just keeps getting it done.
Keeps doing it.
On to our hot hitters for the week, and we've got a few to choose from,
Mm-hmm.
but there's been a couple of blokes that have just been smoking hot with the maple.
And they
I'm
are.
going to go with the guy, Blue Sox, not favourite anymore.
No.
Boss Monteroa. He was just devastating to the Sox this round as a member of the Cavs, and in Boss's series he went 9 for 16.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 5.63 average, not too shabby.
He's crushing.
Hit 2 home runs and knocked in 13 runs.
Yeah, that's okay. Not bad in a
Boss,
4 AM series.
who's the boss? The boss is the boss, mate. He was just sensational. Who's your guy?
Oh, no doubt for me, Kyle Petty. He is crushing it. Like we spoke about him already, how he's taking the lead by storm. But this weekend in particular, 9 for 17, so 529 over a 4-game series, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Throw in the 3 steals for good measure.
Bit of everything.
That's dominating.
He has been really picking up the bite in every situation, hasn't he?
He's been great. He's been
Honourable
great.
mentions, anyone?
Well, his teammate Jordan Cowan, we spoke about him again. Just a spark plug up.
He is a spark plug, yeah.
Trey Vavra with the Aces.
As I mentioned before, Trey's been good.
And 2 other guys we've spoken about him already. Daryl George with the Aces, and Braylon Jackson at the top of the Brisbane lineup.
All good selections and all good hitters.
Yeah.
Well done, Jane.
Thank you.
And as we come to our hot corner session, we're going around the horn. This is here, right here. Mark Wick went through this fence on the weekend and survived. Corey Lyon did it just over there at left field. I tell you what, these boys are tough. This is pretty hard right here. Not an easy thing to do. They've gone straight through the fence, got up, kept playing.
Tough units.
Hats off to you boys, hats off to you. Around the horn, a couple of things this week. Jenga, what did you find?
Big congratulations to Matt Kennelly, who joins David Sutherland in the 200 hit club for the ABL. So tip of the cap to you, to both of you. Only 2 in the club, and been great servants of your respective teams in the league for a long time.
They absolutely have, both great players, and it just goes to show longevity.
Longevity.
Like with great hitting, you know, they've done the job for a long time.
They have,
Sensational.
and still have both of them having good years to start off with.
Yeah.
Kennelly not so much, Sutherland off to a flyer, but yeah, still getting it done.
Both good. One other thing I heard, Travis Blackley coming back a little bit later this season to play with the Melbourne Aces. Give them a big boost.
That's a huge in for them.
Big boost for him. He recently was having his buck show, just hanging out with Sergio Romo apparently in Las Vegas.
Old Giants bullpens buddies.
Old Giants bullpens buddies, wouldn't be too shabby, would it?
No. Did you think Sergio would have shouted a few rounds?
Would have been a fair show. They got a bit of coin there. Sergio, I reckon, got a bit of coin behind him. So Travis Blackley be massive for the Aces when he comes back. Probably not till later, sort of like December, January, but give him a boost, no doubt.
Oh, for sure.
We spoke about other guys too that are coming back. A couple of bullpen guys coming back. Van Stencil for
Yes, the Blue
Sydney.
Sox, yep.
They got a few blokes missing in Sydney, so he'll be big for them.
Mhm.
Lot of changes you'll see coming in December, January. There'll be a lot of changes made.
Once they've had their rest from their pro seasons, though, it could be quite a few tweaks to bullpens, especially. I think that's where the changes will be.
Yeah, the Biter adding another starter too. Gallant is coming
Yes.
across to start for them soon. So
Yeah, well, Davo told us about him
you'll
last
see
week.
him.
Yeah.
Davo mentioned him last week. So yeah, keep your eyes out
Mhm.
for what's going on. All right, so predictions, Django, this week. Got a few big series.
Yep.
I'm going to throw to you for the Perth Heat and Melbourne Aces. Who you got?
Perth at Melbourne. You know what? Perth have got to break out sooner or later. I'm taking the Heat 3-1. There's just too many quality guys in that lineup that have been slow starters. So they all
You
come
think
out.
it's going to happen, don't you? At some stage, the bats are going to come alive.
And they're all going to come out of their funk eventually. They're too good not to. So why don't they all do it at the same time and do it this weekend? So I'll take Heat 3-1.
Kind of feeling the same, but I'm going to go a little bit different just to keep it interesting. I'll go the 2-2 split. I think Melbourne are good enough to get a couple at home. If they're pitching, Sano, if he gets it done again, he's still been doing pretty good. They were a little bit off last week, the starters. Sano was still pretty good. I think Larkins is still going to be all right. I'll give them 2.
McGillivray as well. They've got quality pitchers.
McGillivray struggled a little bit last week, but yeah, like he can bounce back. I'll go the split.
Yep, no worries. Adelaide travelling to Sydney.
Going to be a ripper. I reckon going to be a ripper. I reckon I'm going to go for the split there as well.
Yep.
I think Adelaide are good enough to get 2 on the road. They're hitting well enough. If their starting pitching does anything great or just gets over the line a bit more, Matty Williams has been good.
He has.
Chambers has been good. I reckon they can get at least 2, but I'll go 2-2 split.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same with that series. There's strong points for both teams where there's guys that aren't performing, like I said with Perth. There's guys that aren't performing that are bound to come out and start taking over. And guys like Kyle Petty's just unbelievable at the moment. So if he
can't keep up.
If he keeps hitting the way he is, geez, Adelaide 4-0. But
Nicey Brycey might get it done this week.
He's jumped up into the 2-hole now. They've changed, they've tweaked the lineup a little bit. So
like the sock game he had last week.
Yes.
Had the Adelaide Crows socks going.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Mark Rasciuto would have been pleased to see those on.
So yeah, I'll take the split there. And Canberra, Brisbane.
Canberra, Brizzy. Wow, what a series this is going to be.
That's huge.
Incredible. Really hard to split these two teams. Their offenses both firing. Both have got, I think Brisbane's pitching a little bit better. Maybe that'll sway it in their favour. I reckon I might go for Brizzy 3-1.
Okay. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Cavs 3-1. They're just riding the wave. They're just going to keep scoring runs and just keep getting it done. So Canberra.
The one's Grenning, by the way, because it's a lay down.
No brainer.
But yeah, no, sounds good.
Yep.
All right, well that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned next week. There's going to be more stuff to talk about. The ABL, some great series this weekend. Get on down to your ballpark, take a look. Check us out on Twitter, ABL Hot Corner. Get on the Facebook page. Let us know what you're thinking. Be interactive. Tell us about your ballpark experience. But until then, this is Brooke Kilpatrick.
Jamie Jang Cloden.
Signing out. Thanks for being with us. Cheers.
See you later.